Roberta, behold Dr. Zoolittle's majestic time machine!
What in the world? A time machine? Dr. Z! Dr. Z! Where are you off to? Take me with you!
Oh, I can't believe this. I am traveling back in time, traveling back to the land that I have longed to experience. It's one giant step for man, one tiny step for mankind. Veni, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Oh, it failed. I cannot believe it.
Can we rewind for a minute, Dr. Z? Did you say travel back in time to prehistory? You mean like in the era of dinosaurs?
That's quite right, Roberta. I was going to go back to the prehistoric era, all the way back to observe the dinosaurs, to interact with them. I was going to watch their behaviors. I was going to take note of their adaptations, and I was going to collect some dino scat. But now, Roberta, all I've got left are Nana's snacks. She gave me some lovely dinosaur claws. I'm going to have to eat them because I hate to see food go to waste.
Oh, Dr. Z, don't worry. We can figure this out together. We do need to kick off today's show, though. Maybe you should take a moment. Phoebe and I will take care of the introduction. Hello, kids, and welcome to San Diego Zoo Kids Corner. We can't wait to share all our stories and adventures with you. So, let's explore the animal world together. As always, buckle up, because we're about to bring the zoo to you.
Oh! Oh, Roberta, I cannot believe that this didn't work. It's so disappointing. I was so excited that I was going to go back to the prehistoric era. Just think about all the behaviors that are going to go unseen, all the adaptations that will be undocumented, and all the dino scat that will decompose uncollected and unappreciated.
Oh, Dr. Z, I hate to see you disappointed, but I must ask, why the sudden interest in dinosaurs?
Roberta, this is not sudden at all. I've always been interested in dinosaurs. I always wanted to walk amongst them. I always wondered, Roberta, what special adaptations did dinosaurs have that allowed them to exist all those years ago?
What's that, Phoebe? Oh my, that's amazing! Really? I never knew! Okay, I'll tell him. Oh, Dr. Z! You may not need your time machine after all.
Are you trying to tell me, Roberta, that there are dinosaurs walking amongst us? Dinosaurs right here in the 21st century. Psst.
That's exactly what I'm about to tell you. Phoebe said, wait for it, there are still dinosaurs among us, or at least, some of their relatives. Isn't that just amazing? You don't need to travel back into time to see the ancient adaptations. We have them right here.
Roberta, when I look around, I don't see any dinosaurs. And let me remind you, dinosaurs are huge, ferocious, scaly animals. Roar! I don't see any of them around. Oh, hi, Phoebe. Sorry, I'm not bilingual. I don't speak bird. Roberta, can you help me out with what Phoebe's trying to tell me?
Phoebe says if you don't want to believe us, maybe you'll believe Olivia. She got to meet an actual animal that fits your exact description. Enormous, ferocious, and scaly, all the way down from Australia. Let's check it out.
They've been walking the earth since the dinosaur era. They're the world's largest living reptile, and they are Australia's apex predator, meaning they are on top of the food chain. And no other Australian animal is fast enough, strong enough, or brave enough to prey on them. Introducing the saltwater crocodile, or affectionately known to most Aussies as the salty.
Saltwater crocs are the largest of the 23 species of crocodilian found on our planet. Bigger than gharials, bigger than caimans, and even bigger than alligators. The largest ever recorded saltwater croc was just over 6 meters long. That's roughly from here to here. That is huge.
So I guess their enormous size would probably play a role in their predatory success. But there's got to be more to the story. What exactly makes these ancient reptiles such successful hunters? Is it those teeth? Or perhaps it's the way their bodies are built? Either way, let's check in with Keeper Chris at Dreamworld in Australia to find out more.
Salties are really intelligent animals and they can memorise what time animals come down to the water's edge to drink and where. So it means that they can just lay an ambush for them, burst out of the water, grab them and drag them into the water. So they've perfected this method of ambush hunting over millions and millions of years.
When it comes to hunting, these crocs have another little trick up their sleeves. They're capable of what's called a tail walk.
A tail walk sounds exactly how it looks. It's actually a natural behaviour that crocodiles use out in the wild. They launch themselves right up out of the water, grab a food item and head straight back down into the water, giving you the illusion that they're walking on their tails.
And today, Chris is going to give us a first-hand look at this unique hunting behaviour.
All right, so what we're going to do before we head up onto the platform, I'm going to get you to harness up. So this is going to stop you being dragged into the pond with him. So that's a very important piece of kit. So chuck that on.
Okay, next.
All right, nice. So we're going to clip you off with this buckle onto the eyelet you can see behind me on the railing.
Okay.
And you're going to use this pole to feed him. So we're going to hook a bit of food on the end of the wire here. You're going to hang it over. He's just going to jump up, hopefully grab the meat off the wire without grabbing the pole and dragging you over the edge with him. So.
Okay, this
Right.
way?
Up this way, yep.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I've got Goliath's favourite treat in my hand and I'm ready for action.
That was absolutely amazing. I can't even explain the difference between standing on that side and seeing a croc from this perspective, looking straight down their mouths. These guys are definitely Australia's apex predators.
That was so impressive and if I'm being honest, a little intimidating. And did you hear that popping sound? That was a result of the salty's enormous jaw pressure. The bite of a saltwater crocodile measures around 3,900 pounds per square inch. To put that into perspective, the best you and I could do would be around 150 to 200 pounds per square inch. Imagine if we had that much jaw pressure combined with a mouth full of enormous teeth.
Saltwater crocodiles have 64 to 68 conical shaped teeth, so they're not sharp like a shark's tooth. They're actually dull and blunt like this one here. So they're not sharp at all. They just use their incredible bite force to puncture these into a prey animal.
Between those strong teeth, immense jaw pressure, and their agility above and below the water, it's becoming more and more obvious to see why they are Australia's apex predator.
Wow! Did I hear Olivia correctly that the saltwater crocodile, also known as salty, has perfected its hunting strategies since the time of the dinosaurs millions of years ago?
See, Dr. Z? We told you. But guess what? There are many more modern-day animals with prehistoric ancestors and adaptations that we can learn from. So, Phoebe and I, we want to throw you a prehistoric party. That way you'll feel like your time machine worked and you're back in the Mesozoic era.
I like where this is going, Roberta, and I know who's going to be our first guest. Salty, the saltwater crocodile. He'll make a voracious party guest.
And that's a yes. He'll be there.
And I've even got a similar stick to the one that Olivia used to feed Salty. There we go, there we go. Have it. Oh.
Speaking of serving food, we need a party snack that will impress our guests.
That's an excellent idea, Roberta, and Olivia's got just the treat.
Today we're going to make dinosaur marbled eggs. Now these are really cool. Now the first step, you need to crack the eggs, but don't fully crack them so that they break open. Just crack them so they start to create a little bit of webbing around the sides and go all over the egg. Okay, now the next step is to grab one egg and place it in the corner of your plastic bag and choose your first food dye colour. You need about 8 drops of each one. I'm going to go with blue for my first one. Now seal up the bag. Try and get as much air out as you can, and then move that dye all over the egg so it's completely covered. But be very gentle, you don't want to split the shells. Give it a little twist and set that aside. Now we repeat that process with our next colour. All right, now we have all 3 of our eggs sitting in their food dye. Now you have to be a little bit patient for the next step and wait 30 minutes before we put our vinegar on. We'll see you in a second. All right, now that our eggs have been marinating for long enough, the next step is to put a little bit of vinegar on them to set the colour. You're going to want to do that one by one so the colours don't mix. Okay, now for the fun part. We'll start with our blue egg. All you need to do is peel away that shell. You should start to reveal, oh, how good does that look? All of that marbling. Gently make your way around the whole egg. How good is that? It's a surprise with every egg. Let's see what the green one looks like. Very cool. All right, now it's time for our yellow one. This one turned out well. There we have it, our 3 marbled, hard-boiled dinosaur eggs. They look great.
Whoa! These eggs look excellent, and I am about to make one of them go extinct. But if I do, they won't be enough for our prehistoric party. You know, Roberta, scientists believe that all dinosaurs hatched from eggs.
Ooh, Dr. Z! What came first, the dinosaur or the egg?
No, Roberta, it's not time for jokes, but you ask a very important questions. Fossils can teach us which things came first. We study the fossils and they'll tell us who arrived on the Earth first, the plants, the animals. In fact, I think that's an excellent idea for this week's trivia.
This sounds fun! I'm ready when you are, Dr. Z.
We have Professor Hutchinson here to help us, and he's almost as old as the dinosaurs. Okay, for today's trivia, boys and girls, we're going to see which came first. I'm going to give you 2 living beings, and you're going to tell me which ones were on Earth first. Let's get started. Do you think it is the jelly or the flower? If you answered jelly, you'd be correct. Jellies have no brains and no backbones, but they do have some smooth moves. Jellies have been drifting in the oceans for at least 500 million years, well before the flowers that began to bloom about 130 million years ago. Our next one is the shark and the tree. Which came first, the shark or the tree? If you guessed the shark, you're absolutely correct. Amazingly, the first sharks were roaming the ocean waters at least 400 million years ago. It would be at least another 15 million years before the ancestors of the modern trees would begin sprouting on Earth. Our final trivia question is the tuatara and the zebra. Which came first, the tuatara or the zebra? If you guessed tuatara, you're absolutely correct. Tuataras might look like lizards, but they're not. They're a one-of-a-kind reptile found only in New Zealand. Their closest relatives lived alongside dinosaurs 200 million years ago and went extinct at the same time as the dinosaurs. And the mighty zebra? Well, it's the youngest of all our trivia animals today at 2 million years old. Wow, a tuatara? I have never heard of that animal before. Roberta, do you think we should invite that animal to our prehistoric party?
Absolutely! Dr. Z, let's check in with our friends at Wellington Zoo in New Zealand to learn a bit more about our guests.
Tuatara are New Zealand's largest living reptile, and here's 5 things you need to know about them. Number 1, there is only one place in the world you can find wild tuatara, and that's on the small offshore islands off the coast of New Zealand. Number 2, their closest relatives died out in the same extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Scientists sometimes refer to them as living fossils because their family is so old. Number 3, tuatara are crepuscular, which means they are most active at dawn and dusk. Number 4, they live for a very long time. There are tuatara alive today that are over 100 years of age. Number 5, tuatara means old spiny back in New Zealand's native language, Te Reo Maori. And if you look closely, you can see exactly how they got that name. If you're ever in town, be sure to come and visit our tuatara here at Wellington Zoo. It's not every day you get to see a living fossil.
Wow, that animal looks like a prehistoric party animal. Okay, Roberta, let's recap who's coming to our prehistoric party. We've got Salty, the largest reptile in Australia, and I hope that old Spinyback, the tuatara, the largest reptile in New Zealand, will be joining us as well.
It's incredible how some refer to the tuatara as a living fossil because their family is so old. I know one of the main ways we can learn more about animals from long ago is studying ancient fossils. But what is a fossil exactly, Dr. Z? How are they created?
Hey, Roberta, that is an excellent question. And my identical twin brother is going to show you an experiment you can do at home that explains how fossils came to be.
Hello, Dr. Zoolittle here, and I'm here with...
his assistant, Maisie.
And...
his assistant, Chase.
Today, we are going to be making fossils out of bread, which represents this sedimentary rock, and dinosaurs, which represent...
Fossils.
I was going to say dinosaurs, but yeah, fossils is right. Okay, the first thing you guys are going to need, we need bread, we need dinosaurs, and then I also have some fruit juice, which is in food coloring, just to mix things up. You'll also need a plastic bag. Now, the first thing we're going to do is each one of you take a piece of bread and put it in front of you. Piece of bread and put it in front of you. Okay, great. Next, you're going to dip your dinos into the food coloring or juice mixture and make sure you coat the whole thing. And then you're going to put 2 dinosaurs on the bread. 2 dinosaurs on the bread. There's 1 and there's 2. Fantastic. Now you're going to put a piece of bread on top of that bread. Just the same kind. Perfect. Okay, great. And then you can push it down a little bit. Push it down a little bit. Okay, great. Now, you're going to put 1 dinosaur in the middle. 1 dinosaur in the middle. Fantastic. And you're going to put one of the smaller pieces of bread on top of that. We've used different kinds of bread to mix things up. All right, now for the fun part. We have the sedimentary rock. We have the dinos. Dinos, you guys have pushed this down pretty good. We are now going to put this in a plastic bag. There we go. And now we're going to need to compress this for a very long time. Well, all right. Now, after what seems like 16 days, we have our fossil to look at. So we're going to go ahead and take this out of the bag and see what we discover. Okay, let me see. As you can see, we have dinosaur fossils in the bread.
Oh, I see now. So that's how fossils are made. How cool. Dr. Z, I want to make some fossils for our party guests. Maybe ones that could be taken home as a party favor.
That is an excellent idea, Roberta, and Olivia has got just the treat for people to take home with them.
Today, we're going to be making fossils. Now, step 1, grab a mixing bowl and put all your ingredients in one. Now, the next step is to get your hands a little bit dirty. You want to mix everything together so it turns into a dough. And always have a little bit of extra water on hand if you need to add a little bit more. All right, that's getting pretty doughy. Now, the next step is to place that on top of a flat surface. I'm just going to use a cutting board and flatten that out as much as you can. You can use a rolling pin or you can just use your hands. All right, that's pretty flat. Now the next step is to create your fossil circle. Now all I have used is the half cup. To press that down, you can use a cookie cutter or you can create shapes of your own. All right, we'll save the rest of this for later. And we'll start to create our fossils. Now the next bit is to choose which fossils you'd like to make. Now I have a shell. I think maybe the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus. All right, so what you want to do is press that. It's kind of like Play-Doh, so just press it in and it should just mold around the shape like so. Now it's time for the T-Rex. Make sure you get it nice and deep. Whoa, that's our T-Rex. Now it's time for the Stegosaurus. And there we have our Stegosaurus. Now you're not quite done yet. You have to be a little bit patient and let these dry overnight so they're not floppy anymore and they become solid. And there you have it, your coffee ground salt and flour fossils.
What do you think of my fossil creation, Phoebe?
Roberta, still not able to speak bird. Can you help us out over here?
I'm not sure I understand either. Something about a T-Rex and a shoe and a bird? But don't worry, Phoebe says our friends Michelle and Marco will help explain.
There are dinosaurs among us. I suppose it's true what they say. Life finds a way. In fact, we're going to go face to face with a real live dinosaur right here at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, the infamous B-Rex.
Did you say the T-Rex?
No, B-Rex.
Oh, you mean the Balaenocipitidae? Well, right over there, the Shoebill.
Well, yes, but I promise they are just as cool as any dinosaur that ever roamed the Mesozoic era. Go on, take a closer look. Even though this bird doesn't share the enormous size or strength of the T-Rex, it's still an intimidating predator. It has a razor-sharp beak, wings that can stretch well over 7 feet long, and a trademark menacing glare that seems almost impenetrable.
We are really fortunate here at the Safari Park to have a modern-day dinosaur, the Shoebill. Oftentimes people think they're a robot, but it's a real bird. And the Shoebill is really unique. They get the name for this giant beak structure that they have. It's not just any beak. And you can tell a lot about a bird's behavior and what they eat by the shape of the beak. And this particular bird gets a name for the whale-like beak structure that it has, almost like a giant shoe, actually, and that's why they get the name Shoebill. And in fact, even in Egyptian times, these birds were given a name, Abu Mak Abu, which actually means the father of the slipper. So there's a lot of connection with that shape of that beak with this particular bird species. Being a really modern day dinosaur, this bird will stalk its prey. It'll blend into its environment in those swamplands and wait for that perfect opportunity to ambush with the giant shoebill coming out and grabbing its prey. Whether it be a lungfish, a catfish even, they've even known to eat baby crocodiles. That is a bird eating a crocodile. You know, it's amazing how many connections you can find with modern day dinosaurs of today with the dinosaurs of yore. Like, you see a lot of similarities with certain adaptations. For instance, feathers. It wasn't only birds on our planet having feathers. There's a lot of evidence of certain dinosaur species showcasing that feather for breeding purposes, for maturity as well. So that's definitely a direct link. And of course, you can't deny the scales on the birds as well. You look at those long legs of a shoebill stork as they're perusing through that marshland, those wide feet, and all those scales covering their legs and their feet. Very similar to the dinosaurs of the past that we can see. There's also evidence of certain bone structures being similar, pelvic bone, with certain dinosaur species with birds of today as well. So we're definitely working with modern day dinosaurs.
And even modern day dinosaurs, they need their yearly checkups, believe it or not. Now, all of those same adaptations that made them formidable predators, it also makes this a potentially dangerous situation for both the keepers and the animals. After the shoebill receives his clean bill of health, he's taken back to the lagoon with the same delicate care with which he was originally taken. With skillful precision, the keepers release the mighty B. Rex, and the avian king is once again able to rule over his island.
You know, Roberta, I think you have finally convinced me. I don't need to go back in time to study the dinosaurs or to live amongst the dinosaurs. We have modern-day dinosaurs with us here today. Let's add the shoebill to our list of guests on our prehistoric party.
This prehistoric party is gonna be dynamite! We just have to make sure our saltwater crocodile guest does not bring any, babies along. The shoebill might try and have a little snack.
Well, Roberta, we're not just talking about the shoebill. We have a dinosaur with us right over here, Phoebe.
Dr. Z, you're right! I guess this is what Phoebe was trying to tell us. It's not just the shoebill that could be thought as a modern-day dinosaur. We've been friends with one all along.
Absolutely, Roberta. Just like Marco told us, she's got scaly feet and feathers just like the dinosaurs.
Well, now that our guest list is settled, there's just one more thing to plan for our prehistoric party. The entertainment. I know, just the thing. What do you call a dinosaur with no eyes? Do you think Eusaurus? What does a triceratops sit on? It's tricerabottom! Why can't you hear a pterosaur using the bathroom? Because the P is silent.
Okay, Roberta, I think we are ready for our prehistoric party.
I think so. Let's go over everything again just to be sure.
Okay, our guests include Salty, the saltwater crocodile, Old Spinyback, the tuatara, the shoebill, Phoebe. We're going to be serving those excellent eggs from Olivia. Then we've got the giveaway, the fossils, and if there's time, Roberta, we'll hear some jokes.
That's perfect, Dr. Z. Everything we need. Selecting our guest list today has definitely helped us figure out what adaptations allowed animals to survive on Earth long ago. And some of those adaptations have been so successful, we can still see them on animals today.
Roberta, I am never giving up on my time machine. I might use this time machine to travel back to the Devonian period or the Cambrian period. In fact, Roberta, I might use this time machine to travel back to yesterday where I had a delicious piece of pizza. Whoa, Roberta, it's working! It's working! Kids, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of San Diego Zoo's Kids Corner. We hope you'll join us again, and I'll see you back in the future. In the meantime, keep asking all those questions. See you soon. Stay curious, my friends.